This is the CSGO Betting Edge, brought to you by plusEVsports.com. Be sure to go to the links in the description to join the Discord and see the blog for the latest CSGO betting advice. My name is StarLadder and I'll be your host for the second episode of the Betting Edge. But basically, we're going to be covering the StarLadder CSGO Berlin Major. This is going to be the new Legend Stage Round 1 matchups where basically the top 8 teams, they go to the playoffs, they become legends, and they go on to win the damn thing. Otherwise, if you're in the bottom 8, then you go back to the new Challenger Stage unless you go on 3 where you're going to go all the way back through the minors. But anyway, we're going to head into this one now. Heading over to the first game of ENCE and Vanga. ENCE are coming into the major with an announced roster move that will happen after the event. They are benching their in-game leader Alexi B for the rifler Sunny that has been sitting on Mouse's bench for a while now. We can only speculate on how the climate inside the team will be, but the move will most likely not have any positive influence on the team at the major, and will eventually even cause some internal problems. ENCE's past results have been up and down. While they got second twice at the last 3 attended big event, they lost both times in the finals versus the current number 1 team in the world, Liquid, and even bombed out in last place at ESL 1 Cologne. They will face a Vanga, a team that barely made it through the major main qualifier by beating Complexity, Hellraisers, and Simon Gaming. They lost to Mousesports and NRG along the way though. And even with their internal problems, are the clear favourites in this best of 1, but it's still a best of 1 after all, and an upset is not unthinkable with factors like a finished roster move that will take place after the event. The right map and an overperformance from a Vanguard's players, ENCE still has an upper hand in terms of map pool, and the video should end on one of their stronger maps, the likes of Train or Overpass. At the moment, the odds for both sides feel a bit short to make a plus EV bet, as we suggest betting a Vanguard at 3+ odds. Heading over to Astralis, taking on DreamHack. Astralis are coming into this series as obvious clear favourites, the formerly best team in the world until Liquid took over in the last few months. Will face a CIS underdog that impressed many, myself included, at the major main qualifier. They had arguably the hardest road to the major as they had to play versus 5 very good teams, of which 4 out of 5 qualified themselves for the major, being NRG, G2, Vitality, Crazy and Force, a team that impressed the world with very good online results leading up to the major. Astralis hasn't played an official game in over 50 days now and are looking to take back their throne. They are a team that will take their opponents seriously. They will study the demos of their enemies to the maximum of their ability. But as previously mentioned, it's a best of 1, and while an upset may be unlikely, it can still happen, and we suggest a bet on DreamHack at 6+ odds for a 0.5 unit bet on the money line, and to take the spread 6.5+ rounds or higher. On a map, they showed that they are confident on late Inferno or Overpass, where they can make use of their decent CT side at around 1.9+ odds for 1 unit. Now heading over to NRG vs Renegades. In this match we have NRG who cruised their way through the Challenger Stage by beating Tyloo, Simon and Vanga comfortably. After getting upset by the CIS underdog on the first day, they did make a good comeback against DreamHack there, but they did lose it in the end. On the other side is Renegades, who are a big question mark going to this event. They've had a lot of time to prepare for this event, which they definitely need after their disappointing results in the previous month. It's hard to have a proper read on this game as Renegades have a lot of time to prepare. However, they also didn't play any official match during that time. NRG, who already played in the Challenger Stage, is used to the environment in Berlin and had much practice after the player break. Obviously Renegades as well, they've had time to boot camp, and I feel like that's really important. That's what gave them their success at IM Katowice, so I feel like this is a really good chance for them to get back on board with Gratisfaction, get the strats flowing again, get the team cohesion down, because I feel like ever since those visa issues, they have not been the same Renegades, and I feel like this is the best chance for them to be able to get back together and get back to that form and potentially even go further at this major. But at this point, I'd say join the Discord just to wait for what we actually think here. But I'd say go on Renegades if it's 3.5+ odds. Now going over to Liquid vs Crazy, this is probably one of the more interesting matchups for the first round. Not because it's particularly even, but because Crazy had a wild run at the minor and the main qualifier, beating teams like North, Fnatic and Fury. This will be the first proper test for the Serbian team facing Liquid, who haven't lost a single match since the 18th of June and are leading the HLTV rankings. It'll be a tough task for Crazy, but since it's a best of 1, there are certain maps like Dust 2, Mirage and Nuke that make Crazy have a realistic chance of taking it home. The current odds the bookies offer around 4.0 should already be good enough to bet, but it's the nature of major tournaments that the favourites get steamed a lot before the match starts, so we might as well wait until right before the game, so be sure to join the Discord down below. Now heading over to Vitality versus North. In this match we have the number 2 team in the world, Vitality, versus number 11 North. Both teams made their way through the challenger stage, North going 3-0 after a thrilling series against Crazy and Vitality just barely getting to the next stage after beating Greyhound in the deciding match. Vitality has been looking really shaky during the challenger stage, getting upset by 2 CIS teams in DreamHack and Simon. Now they have at least one day break to relax, reaching the legend stage. A huge chunk of pressure should have fallen off them now. North gave us a solid look in the challenger stage after having to go through the major play-in, which led to huge doubts in the team. This should give us a really interesting match with the winner being up in the air. For this reason, we are considering North at odds of 2.3 or better. Now heading over to FaZe Clan taking on Mousesports. Now we come to the FaZe vs Mousesports game. This is another matchup involving a team not playing with a healthy lineup. FaZe already mentioned that they plan to do lineup changes after this tournament. Apart from that, they've had a rough time at the last showing at Blast Pro Series. Mousesports on the other hand are on the rise since Carrigan, Woxic and Frozen joined the lineup and had a pretty smooth run in the main qualifier, finishing 3-0. We took Mousesports at 1.87 right when the lines came out, but those odds are gonna already and most likely won't come back. If you want to bet anyway and want to be on the plusEV side, probably wait for FaZe 2.5 plus odds. Now heading over to Navi versus G2. This is a hard to call matchup, not only because G2 performance spans from playing Liquid close over 3 maps to losing to MIBR with a coach, but also because we haven't seen Navi since ESL 1 Cologne in July. Navi's performance on the first day of the tournament was so bad in the past that it almost became a meme, but they have been working with a sports psychologist for quite a while now. The newest addition of Boomage also seems to have revitalized the team's will to win tournaments, and they had a month and a half to prepare. G2 on the other hand had to fight their way through the main qualifier, where they had a hard time beating Force and lost to Mousesports. We already recommend taking Navi at 1.7 plus earlier, but since our recommended odds are no longer available and G2 is not nearly at the price we would need to take them, we would recommend skipping this match. But I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see what Navi come out with. I think they're definitely the favourites in this matchup and could be a favourite potentially to actually take down Liquid further on in this event, especially with the amount of time that they've spent with Boomage now. I believe they're going to get everything clicking, but yeah, I'd say skip this match. Now heading over to Made in Brazil versus Ninjas in Pajamas. The last match on the first day features 2 current legend teams, Made in Brazil versus NiP. The match would sound so good on paper, however both teams have to use a stand-ins for this major. Made in Brazil will be playing with Zeus instead of coldzera, who requested to be benched in July, while NiP has to use Golden instead of Plopsky, who played the minor with Ancient. Another big story going into this is the accusations that the NiP org is not paying salaries, and last but not least, the legend, Get Right, playing his last tournament with the team. Made in Brazil come into this major with a respectable result from IM Chicago, reaching the semi-finals while having Zeus standing in. During this run they managed to beat the likes of G2 and took a map of Ents in the semi-final. NiP's last LAN result is a quarter-final run in Cologne where they managed to beat Vitality and Heroic, but then lost to Astralis in the upper bracket final and got knocked out by Vitality in the quarter. This however is almost 2 months ago. More recently we have seen them struggle in the EPL relegation by getting 0-2'd by Sprout, barely scraping by Heretics. Looking at the match, it is pretty unclear how to rate the teams since both are playing with a stand-in. However, in our opinion, Made in Brazil should be favoured due to the respectable results while playing with Zeus, who could even hold his own on the server, compared to NiP, whose org is breaking apart, and using a player that they haven't been playing with for a while. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. Be sure to join the website down below, join the Discord as well, and also, go check out my YouTube as well, and we'll see you next time.